Back to my Tuesdays rambles, and picking up from last week topic of gender violence and issues that arise with children that um, experience that from their parents or guardianship that they're raised in. um I had to stop because I was getting emotional, and it's hard for me to talk about it because I've gone through it. um Let me say, it's not something that you can put away from your mind after you've experienced it. That's why we say when you get hurt, it's hard. That wound leaves a scar. The scar stays for a long time, not unless you have a nice way of healing that the scar disappears, but the scar still remains. And like the emotional damage really creeps on you when you least expect it, when you think all is fine, all is okay, and then one day you just something props up. It's also associated with depression, it's also associated with mental issues sometimes. um so today I want, let's find a solution about this. For starters, we can tell, because parents or whoever is the guardian of children should grooming is a word that has been misused by um, predators, but grooming people was used to mean um, bring up somebody with convictions, with principles, with um, good stance, so that they can be a good person in the society and uplift the society towards the right path. So one thing I'll say, parents mostly emphasize for the boy child, because the girl child was uplifted so much that most boy child was neglected, they felt left out, and they need a lot of, what's it, not just advice, they need a lot of support, they need a lot of um, being talked to, not talked at. And also I would say, try to give a good impression of what a man is supposed to do, how they are supposed to interact with other people, even women. Because, like I said, even women also are at fault at this, because we have heard of cases of women being the aggressive partners in a relationship and being the ones who abuse their partners. And just basically make people, help people be the best they can be to others and to themselves. um Nowadays I don't see much of the retreats that were there. At least, when you keep on saying parents should talk to their children about life and how they interact with others, be it sexually, be it friendly, be it as a person generally. And I've not heard of much of that discussion coming up. And I think that's where we are lacking, because mentorship in our past, like for us millennials, we we can say our parents took time to talk to us. We had also mentorship of, not people who were hiding in the sense in the churches. There were predators, don't get me wrong, they were there, but also there were people who actually had principles and helping the youth be the best they can be. I'll say, like for us here in our church, when I used to go to church, in our Catholic church, we had a priest who was so an advocate for the youth and helping the youth come together, um, tackle issues, will be given plays to act out about early pregnancies, about abusive relationship, about drug addictions and abstinence. And the priest, I don't know which country he came from. He was white, but he really advocated for that, and he would held the seminars and also bring also musicians. You know, young people, we love, it's like a concert sort of thing, but it will be a seminar of teachings and learning and prayers. He got married to a sister, to a nun, but still he still does the good work of trying to advocate for the youth wherever he is. We used to call him Father Kevin. He was a good priest. Not all we have heard of the bad side of priests doing unspeakable things. Anyway, so for the gender-based violence, we do have advocacy for that, and it tries its level best, because one thing we remember that victims, not all victims are forthcoming because of fear, because they don't know how they are going to survive. Some of them have attachment to that relationship because that's what they know, and they have the fear of, if I get out of that relationship, will I survive? Or the fear of unknown, can I be strong enough to heal from the issues that we had, or the issues that I faced in that relationship. And I remember during my mom, when she was still married to my dad, um, the other thing that really hit people a lot, that's why they don't run away from or just get out of that situation, was stigma. And the stigma was um, maybe mainly in churches and church groups, they will think that, oh yeah, I'm a failure as a wife, or people will talk about that I failed in my marriage, I didn't hold on strong enough. Because here in Africa, mostly ladies are in the past. I hope that's stopping now. Uh, they'll be told that, well, we went through it, so it's not a big deal, which they normalized the issues too much, that now it's becoming uh, an ick, like it's a pet peeve. Uh, because some have lost their lives just because of listening to bad advice like that, saying that, oh yeah, I can stand on that relationship and still survive. But not all survive. It's sad to say that. So we should speak on it and normalize being the best versions of ourselves, uh, not to use our failures, because some of the, if you listen to some of the reasons some people say when they are caught up in that issue, they say, um, I was failing at work, or I was frustrated because I didn't earn enough, and I was frustrated because of such and such situations. But instead of dealing with the situation, they pro- project their issues on a person who doesn't deserve that. And while projecting it on the other person, you have innocent children stand by and watching all this coming out, and some children grow up seeing that as normal and normalize it in their own life, and it goes bad. It goes either both ways, bad or good. You might find the children sometimes grow up saying, I don't want to be that version of a person, and they do the best to their ability to be the best person in their life, and not reverting to their abuse and the craziness, I'll say, because sometimes it's just craziness. Because in normal, let's say, not just normal, in the perfect world, we'll all have an agreement and live our life with no complaints because of economy issues, because of uh, personal issues. Will just be like zen. But that's not the perfect world we live in. We are living of a world with ups and downs, wars coming up, food crisis coming up, retrenchments coming up, and it takes a lot of toil, even in a relationship, to balance what's happening around you and what's happening within you. I'll just say that on that. Um. So yeah, counseling, to some people it works, to some people it doesn't work. But I'll say also hobbies help to curb some of the tension. To some people it works, to some people it doesn't work. It's just like that. So just find your niche, and how you deal with the issues that come up. For me, uh, I'm still having the fear of having my own family and experiencing the bad times. That's actually the biggest fear, like experiencing the abuse, experiencing the neglection, because also emotional turmoils is also another thing. Emotional abuse of the emotion. And some will say they would rather the physical than the emotional, because the emotional, it takes time to come out of it. But I'll say I would not want any, because I have seen the emotional abuse, I've seen the physical abuse, I've also seen the neglection and the rejection. It's not fun, all of it.